Kris here, another quick tip for you all. In this video, we are going to continue our look at painting the Beast of Nurgle with mostly contrast paints. You can see here the horns have already been given a base coat of Wraith Bone. I went back in and reapplied Wraith Bone onto the horns just to clean up the edges and solidify the color. We're going to use Skeleton Horde here to get us started for the horns to get a nice bone color going on. And as I apply the color, I'm using just straight out of the pot and applying it, but I'm using the paint and finishing my brush stroke towards the ends of the horns. That is where I want the color to build the most. And you can see we just applied just two quick little layers. Once it's dry, we're going to come in with Snakebite Leather. We're going to use this straight out of the pot, beginning about, about 2/3 of the way down the horn and drawing towards the end of the horn where we want the color to build the darkest. We're doing this on both sides of the horn, even though I'm not really showing it, but both sides are getting applied. Once that first layer is dry, I apply another layer, and this is about like 1/3 of the way. Again, I'm just looking to deepen up the color here as we work our way through. And of course, you'll see that there's a few little like tide marks and such, and I wasn't entirely happy with that. So I grab a little bit of medium, grab a little bit of the Snakebite Leather, mix it in, and then apply it about 1/3 of the way down and get a little transition occurring. And you see here, I'm not applying it too heavily. It is looking a little heavy, and so I end up feathering out some of the color as well, just to get a nice smooth transition going on. And so once that is dry, we're going to come in with Black Templar. And I think we'll use a little bit of medium here. We're going to thin this down just ever so slightly. And we're going to apply this pretty much in a 1-to-1 mix ratio. It's probably more medium than pigment. And you can see here again, we're just going and applying it about 1/3 of the way or less than 1/3. Really just capturing just the tip. And we're creating that slight transition there. And of course, once it's dry, we're going to come in and apply another quick little layer. Again, we want to build up a nice deep dark black onto those ends. Here you can see I'm just quickly coming in and just getting just the very tips of those horns. Antlers or horns, one of the two. I'm going to come in with Wraith Bone. We're going to use this as our dry brush. So I'm going to slap a little bit onto a palette. I'm going to use a small dry brush for this. And very lightly, I am going to apply this, capturing just the high points of the horn, going all the way to the base and working it pretty much all the way to the tip of the horns as well. Now, you can pretty much stop here if you want. You can see I'm building up a nice bright bit of color on the ends, again, just to kind of really kind of differentiate them from the tentacles, because they kind of get lost when there is a little too much black there. But if you want to push them back down and keep that highlight, we're going to use some Nuln Oil. We're going to use this very sparingly, and we're using this about 1/3 of the way down the horn, pretty much where we had initially laid the black, but also because it's very thin and it's not quite as saturated as contrast. Again, we could have used contrast in this regard, but we didn't really feel it necessary, as it was really saturated, and Nuln Oil would have pretty much got us where we wanted at this point. And as you can see here, he's all nice and dry, ready to go, and that is it. That's the horns of our Beast of Nurgle. I think next we'll work on the belly.